The elevator doors of Everett Holdings slid open on the 42nd floor, revealing sleek glass partitions and the polished brass logo of my mother's luxury hospitality firm, gleaming under recessed lights. From where I stood, I could see into the boardroom where the morning meeting was in full swing. My mother, Victoria Everett, commanded the table, her voice crisp as she reviewed reports with her senior executives. Beside her sat my sister, Camille, who'd been handed the VP of Operations title fresh out of grad school. 4 years ago, I'd stood in that very room, a freshly minted MBA from Stanford, only to hear my mother say, "Leah, you're not cut out for the executive team. Maybe something in event planning or PR would be better for someone like you." But today, I was here for a very different reason, one that would finally show them precisely what I was capable of. "Ms. Bennett, Mr. Chen from Avalon Group is waiting in your office. Should I let him know you'll be late?" The voice of my assistant Carla flowed through my earpiece. "No delay needed, Carla," I replied, keeping my gaze locked on my mother, who gestured excitedly about their newest hotel development, a project she didn't know was about to change hands. "Tell Nathan we're right on schedule." I smoothed the sleeve of my Roxanda blazer, its price tag higher than Camille's monthly car lease, and caught my reflection in the polished steel doors. At 30, I looked every inch the CEO I'd become, though my family still believed I was slogging away at some mid-level consultancy. If only they knew finding myself meant transforming Bennett Partners into one of the most powerful private equity firms on the West Coast, or that their prized partner Avalon Group had discreetly sold controlling interest to my firm just last month. "Leah?" Camille's startled voice cut through my thoughts. She'd finally noticed me, hovering outside the glass walls. "What are you doing here? Mom's in a critical meeting." "I know." I smiled, savoring the way color drained from her cheeks as she clocked the Avalon Group badge clipped to my lapel. "I'm here for that meeting." Her self-assured expression crumbled. "You work for Avalon?" "Not exactly." I checked my watch. "Right on time. Shall we go in? Nathan's about to make quite an announcement." As Camille hesitated, the boardroom door swung open. My mother's eyes darkened at the sight of me, but before she could speak, Nathan Chen strode in. "Victoria," he boomed, though his eyes were fixed on me. "I see you've met our new owner." The room went ice cold. My mother's pen slipped from her fingers. "Owner?" she whispered, looking between Nathan and me. I crossed the room and claimed the seat at the head of the table. "Bennett Partners acquired controlling interest in Avalon Group last month. We'll be overseeing all your hospitality projects going forward." "Bennett Partners?" Camille's voice was barely a whisper. "You mean?" "Yes," Nathan confirmed, a gleam in his eye, clearly savoring the moment almost as much as I was. "Your sister's firm. Quite remarkable, really. Building a multi-billion-dollar investment powerhouse in just 4 years. Though I'm a bit surprised you didn't know, she's been making waves across the industry for some time now." My mother's complexion shifted to an alarming shade of crimson. "This is absurd. Leah doesn't have the experience to—" "To what, Mom?" I interrupted smoothly. "To run a thriving company? To acquire major corporations? To sit at the big table with people who actually know what they're doing?" I opened my laptop and cast the screen onto the conference room's massive display. The Bennett Partners portfolio glowed across the glass walls. Dozens of businesses, billions under management, and now, Avalon Group, the biggest partner in Everett Holdings' hospitality pipeline. "While you were telling me I wasn't cut out for leadership," I continued, my voice steady, "I was building something bigger than Everett Holdings could ever dream of. And I did it without nepotism, without a safety net, and certainly without your approval." Camille, ever the peacemaker, forced a brittle smile. "Well, maybe this is good news. A family partnership?" "Oh, this isn't a partnership," I cut her off firmly. "This is a takeover." The room seemed to contract around us as I spoke. Avalon Group represents nearly 65% of Everett Holdings' active hotel development contracts. Contracts that, as of today, are officially under review. Gasps rippled through the executives seated around the table. My mother's fingers dug into the polished table so hard her rings bit into the wood. "You wouldn't dare," she breathed. "We're family." "Family?" I gave a short, cold laugh. Like when you told the board women are too emotional for strategic roles in hospitality? Or when you handed Camille my business proposals and let her present them as her own? I inclined my head toward Nathan, who began distributing freshly printed contracts to the stunned executives. These are your new terms, I announced. Bennett Partners will be assuming direct oversight of all Avalon projects. You can either adapt to working under my leadership, or we'll shift these contracts to other firms more aligned with our vision. Because sometimes success isn't just proving them wrong. It's becoming so powerful they have no choice but to call you boss. And as I watched the realization dawn in my mother's eyes, that her supposedly unqualified daughter now held the future of her company in her hands, I felt a surge of satisfaction. The next few hours played out like a symphony of corporate revenge. I sat at the head of the table, calm and unbothered, as Nathan laid out every detail of how Everett Holdings' biggest client had become mine. And for the first time in years, I knew exactly where I belonged, at the helm. And if you're curious what happened when my mother tried to fight back, and how far I'd go to protect the empire I'd built, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next chapter. Some family battles are only just beginning. The acquisition was quite brilliant, really, Nathan said, his tone dripping with admiration and just a hint of mischief. Bennett Partners didn't just scoop up Avalon Group shares, they methodically secured every key partner Avalon worked with. He leaned back in his chair, enjoying the way the truth twisted the knife. By the time anyone realized what was happening, Leah had built an ecosystem so intertwined with Avalon that Everett Holdings can't operate without it. Camille, ever the opportunist, tried to keep her footing. Well, surely with my experience as VP, I could help facilitate the transition. Your experience? I interrupted coolly, pulling up a file on the conference screen. You mean the projects you claimed credit for? Like the boutique resort on the Big Island? The one that was my proposal? The same one Mom rejected when I pitched it, then praised when you presented the identical plan 6 months later? The color drained from both their faces as I displayed side-by-side slides, my original proposals and Camille's plagiarized versions. I kept copies, I said, savoring the discomfort now radiating around the table. Every proposal you stole, every concept you dismissed, every time you took credit for my work, it's all documented. My mother finally found her voice, though it came out thin and trembling. Now, listen here, Leah. Whatever grievances you think you have, I rose slowly, commanding the room's full attention. Let's talk about grievances, Mom. Should we discuss that board meeting where you claimed women were too emotional for strategic leadership roles? Or the time you told investors that Camille's natural leadership stemmed from being an Everett while I was just plain business? I tapped the remote, switching to the next slide. The screen filled with Everett Holdings' internal financial reports, records they had no idea I'd accessed. Or maybe we should talk about how the company's success rate on major hospitality projects fell by 40% after you forced me out. How client satisfaction plummeted under Camille's direction because she never understood the details behind the developments she was supposedly managing. The silence was absolute. The only thing keeping Everett Holdings afloat has been Avalon Group's partnerships. Partnerships that, as of today, report to me. Carla entered, carrying a tall stack of folders, distributing them around the table. Inside, you'll find detailed analyses of every project Everett Holdings has mishandled these past 4 years, I continued evenly. Cost overruns, delayed openings, client complaints. All stemming from decisions made after you declared me unqualified to join this company. Camille flipped through her folder, growing paler with every page. How did you get these numbers? The same way I acquired Avalon Group, by paying attention to the details you all dismissed. My phone buzzed on the table. A message from our legal team flashed across the screen. Additional Everett Holdings shareholders accepting Bennett Partners buyout offers. Current stake, 47%. Perfect. Everything was falling into place. Miss Bennett, Nathan interjected, leaning forward. Shall we discuss the reorganization plan? I nodded and pulled up another document. Effective immediately, all Avalon Group projects will be overseen by Bennett Partners' development team. Everett Holdings can either adapt or be left behind, working under our management structure, or we'll transfer the contracts to other firms under the Bennett Partners umbrella. You can't just take over our projects, my mother burst out, her voice brittle, eyes flashing. Victoria, I can, and I am. I tapped my remote, bringing up a new slide on the massive screen. Everett Holdings shareholder updates. While we've been enjoying this little family reunion, Bennett Partners has been acquiring Everett Holdings shares. By the end of today, we'll hold controlling interest in your company as well. The boardroom exploded into chaos. Executives leaned together in frantic whispers, exchanging worried looks while my mother and Camille sat frozen, eyes wide. But what about family loyalty? Camille stammered. Loyalty? I echoed with a cold laugh. Like the loyalty you showed when you stole my resort proposals and pitched them as your own? Or the loyalty Mom showed when she told me to stick to event planning because hospitality strategy was too complex for me? I strolled toward the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Los Angeles, my skyline in many ways. Now, do you know the real difference between us? I turned to face them. While you were busy clutching the family legacy, I was building my own. While you depended on the Everett name, I created something bigger than our surname could ever be. Just then, Carla stepped in with another update. Financial media outlets are requesting a statement on Bennett Partners' acquisition of Avalon Group and the pending takeover of Everett Holdings. Perfect timing, I said, a thin smile touching my lips. Tell them Bennett Partners is thrilled to bring both companies under more capable leadership. My mother's face flushed crimson at the deliberate echo of the words she'd once hurled at me. You're destroying everything I built, Leah. No, Mom. I'm saving what you nearly destroyed through nepotism and outdated thinking. The only difference is, now you'll have to watch your so-called unqualified daughter do it better than you ever could. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong. I leaned closer, voice low but firm. It's becoming so successful that they're forced to sit in your meetings, follow your directions, and admit that the daughter they dismissed as unqualified now controls their entire future. And this was only the beginning. The weeks following my takeover of Avalon Group became a masterclass in corporate restructuring and in family humiliation. I moved Bennett Partners' headquarters into the top floors of Everett Holdings Tower, ensuring my mother and sister had to walk past my name on the lobby directory every single day. 1 month after that explosive boardroom meeting, I sat in my new office, 3 times the size of my mother's old one, reviewing reports on the sweeping changes we'd implemented. The clickbait, Everett Holdings undergoes major restructuring under new leadership, blared the business headlines. Bennett Partners revives family empire. From overlooked daughter to corporate titan. Leah Bennett's stunning takeover. My phone buzzed, the usual barrage of family texts lighting up the screen. Leah, sweetheart, your mother's pride is wounded, my uncle began, shifting uncomfortably. Leah, maybe we could talk about my position in the new structure, Camille added in a falsely bright voice. Other relatives chimed in, murmuring about development ideas they suddenly wanted to pitch. I simply smiled, remembering all those family dinners where they'd laughed off my little investment firm and praised Camille's mediocre accomplishments at Everett Holdings. Miss Bennett? Carla stepped into my office with her tablet. The audit team just finished reviewing Everett Holdings' past projects. You'll want to see this. I flipped through the report, each page confirming what I'd long suspected. Years of mismanagement, concealed losses, and projects rescued only by Avalon Group's deep pockets. And have you seen the latest from your sister? Carla asked gently, swiping to Camille's LinkedIn. There it was, a post where Camille claimed credit for orchestrating the entire merger between Everett Holdings and Bennett Partners. Typical Camille, spinning her own downfall into a triumph. Send her the new organizational chart, I said coolly, the one showing her transfer to our subsidiary in Fairbank. The hospitality project in the middle of nowhere? Exactly. Let's see how her natural leadership performs managing something real. Just then, my office door swung open. My mother entered, looking older than she had a month ago. Leah, she began, then hesitated. Ms. Bennett, We need to talk. About what, Mom? How your so-called unqualified daughter now controls your company? Or how your favorite child is about to learn that managing real projects is far harder than stealing other people's work? She sank into a chair, her fierce facade crumbling. Oh, I made mistakes. We both did. But destroying the family business? I'm not destroying anything, I cut her off. I'm fixing what you broke. I pointed to the wall display showing fresh financial metrics. Since Bennett Partners took over, project completion rates are up 60%. Client satisfaction is up 75%. And those emotional women you said didn't belong in leadership? They're outperforming your old boys club on every metric. The Everett name is being saved by the daughter you dismissed. I crossed to my wall of framed awards and magazine covers my mother had never acknowledged. While you were clinging to your masculine corporate culture, I built something better. A business that values talent over gender and merit over nepotism. My phone buzzed. Carla stepped in again. Camille just landed in Fairbanks. Your daughter is about to learn what real hospitality development involves, I said evenly. No more living off the Everett name or stealing credit. She'll either rise on her own merit or fail on her own incompetence. My mother looked up, her voice trembling. And what about me? I turned to face her. You, Mom, get to watch. You'll keep your title Chairwoman Emeritus sounds impressive enough. But every decision, every project, reports to me now. Carla reappeared with more reports. First quarter results under Bennett Partners management are in. I scanned them and smiled. Profits up 85% from last year. Send copies to the board. And to every publication that quoted my mother about women being too emotional for leadership. My mother flinched at headlines scrolling across Carla's screen. Female CEO proves family wrong. Bennett Partners transforms hospitality industry. How Leah Bennett built an empire from rejection. You know the real difference between us, Mom? I said, settling into her old chair. When you look at a hotel, you see a monument to the Everett name. I see the people who make it succeed. That's why my company thrives where yours struggled. The intercom buzzed. Ms. Bennett, your executive team is here. My mother stood to leave, but I gestured for her to stay. Watch how a truly qualified leader runs a business, because the best revenge isn't just taking over. It's running things so well, they have to admit how wrong they were. The meeting was flawless. Department heads shared record-breaking results. My mother sat silently, witnessing the respect I commanded. As it ended, I announced, we're renaming the company Everett Bennett Hospitality to honor where we came from and where we're going. My mother blinked. You're keeping the Everett name? Of course, so everyone knows how a Bennett transformed what an Everett couldn't manage. As my team filed out, I told Carla, send the quarterly reports to Camille. Let her know that while she's learning basic operations in Fairbanks, her unqualified sister is turning the family's failures into triumphs. My phone buzzed. Camille again. It's freezing here. There's no Starbucks. Please, Leah. I've learned my lesson. I typed back. No, you're just beginning to learn, the same way I did when you said I wasn't qualified. The difference is, I turned rejection into an empire. Let's see what you build from actual work. I'd love your support on this journey. Drop a comment for me. Your thoughts, your advice, your own stories of proving doubters wrong. Remember, rejection isn't the end. It's the fuel to build your empire. Stand tall, trust your vision, and let's show the world what unqualified women can achieve together.